Overthinking can lead individuals to engage in various odd or counterproductive behaviors. Here are some examples. Analysis. Paralysis. Analysis paralysis, born from the labyrinth of overthinking, ensnares individuals in a web of indecision. As the mind incessantly dissects every option, potential outcome, and consequence, a paralyzing fog descends. The pursuit of perfection becomes a stifling burden, immobilizing progress and stifling creativity. Endless contemplation begets a sense of overwhelm, rendering choices insurmountable. The ceaseless quest for the optimal solution transforms decision-making into an exhausting mental marathon. Ironically, the exhaustive examination of possibilities often leads to a perpetual state of inaction. Breaking free from analysis paralysis demands a delicate balance between thoughtful consideration and the courage to embrace imperfection. Self-doubt. Overthinking nurtures the insidious seed of self-doubt, sprouting roots deep within the psyche. Each thought becomes a battleground where confidence clashes with the shadow of uncertainty. The mind's relentless scrutiny magnifies flaws, breeding hesitation and fostering a climate of insecurity. Every decision, no matter how trivial, undergoes a relentless interrogation, amplifying the fear of making mistakes. The overanalyzing mind becomes a relentless critic, casting doubt on one's abilities and worth. Breaking free from this self-imposed trap demands a conscious effort to challenge distorted thoughts, fostering self-compassion and embracing the imperfect journey of self-discovery. Social withdrawal. Overthinking erects formidable barriers to social connection, fueling a self-imposed isolation. The mind, entangled in a web of hypothetical scenarios and potential judgments, becomes a reluctant architect of withdrawal. Social interactions transform into daunting labyrinths, laden with perceived pitfalls and anxieties. Overthinkers, burdened by the fear of saying the wrong thing or being misunderstood, gradually retreat into the sanctuary of solitude. The constant analysis of past conversations and anticipation of future interactions weaves a cocoon of seclusion, hindering the formation of meaningful connections. Escaping this cycle necessitates challenging irrational thoughts and embracing the unpredictable richness of human interaction. Indecisiveness. Overthinking breeds the insidious specter of indecisiveness, shackling the mind in a web of endless considerations. Choices, once simple, morph into labyrinthine puzzles as the mind exhaustively dissects every option. Fear of making the wrong decision becomes a paralyzing force, immobilizing progress. The overactive mind envisions myriad scenarios, each laden with potential pitfalls, rendering the decision-making process an arduous feat. The quest for perfection transforms decision-making into an unattainable ideal, perpetuating a cycle of hesitation. The constant weighing of pros and cons becomes a mental burden, eclipsing the clarity required for effective choices. Breaking free from this quagmire demands a recalibration of thought, acknowledging the imperfections inherent in decision-making and embracing the courage to navigate uncertainty. Replaying conversations. Overthinking incessantly replays conversations, transforming the mind into a relentless editor of verbal interactions. Each word spoken becomes a scrutinized script, analyzed for hidden meanings and potential missteps. The overactive mind fixates on nuances, decoding tones, and gestures in search of perceived slights or overlooked details. This constant mental playback fuels anxiety as the mind revisits conversations, imagining alternative dialogues and rehearsing ideal responses. The compulsion to unravel every nuance creates a cycle of self-doubt, amplifying social insecurities. Breaking free from this mental loop requires mindfulness, challenging distorted interpretations, and acknowledging the fluidity of communication, freeing oneself from the grip of overanalyzing past interactions. Avoidance of risks. Overthinking weaves a cocoon of avoidance around the prospect of risk, creating an intricate mental labyrinth that deters bold actions. The mind, mired in hypothetical scenarios and potential consequences, becomes a cautious gatekeeper, barricading the path to innovation and growth. The fear of failure intensifies, prompting a retreat into the familiar comfort of the status quo. Every potential risk undergoes exhaustive analysis, often leading to a paralyzing inertia. The incessant contemplation of worst-case scenarios eclipses the recognition that risk is an inherent catalyst for progress. Escaping the clutches of overthinking demands a recalibration, allowing room for calculated risks and embracing the transformative power of uncertainty. Worrying about the future. Overthinking projects an intricate tapestry of worry onto the canvas of the future, painting a landscape dominated by uncertainties and imagined adversities. The mind, ensnared in a relentless loop of anxious contemplation, conjures catastrophic scenarios that may never materialize. Fears of failure, rejection, or unforeseen challenges cast shadows over what lies ahead, paralyzing present actions. The incessant planning and anticipation create a mental fog that obscures the potential for positive outcomes. Breaking free from this cycle requires a mindful redirection of focus, acknowledging the limitations of predicting the future, and cultivating resilience to adapt to the ever-changing nature of life. Second-guessing. Overthinking births the relentless specter of second-guessing, casting doubt on decisions already made. The mind, entangled in a web of endless possibilities, replays scenarios with a critical eye. Certainty erodes as every choice undergoes scrutiny, leading to a constant loop of reconsideration. The fear of making a wrong move transforms into a stifling force, hindering progress and fostering indecision. Overanalyzing past actions sows seeds of doubt about one's judgment, triggering a perpetual cycle of hesitancy. Breaking free from this mental quagmire demands self-trust, acceptance of imperfections, and a recognition that growth often arises from the lessons learned through choices, whether perceived as right or wrong. Creating scenarios. Overthinking becomes the playwright of an intricate mental drama, crafting elaborate scenarios that may never come to pass. The mind, in its relentless pursuit of certainty, conjures hypothetical narratives, exploring myriad what-ifs and potential outcomes. This penchant for creating detailed scripts stems from an innate desire to control the unpredictable future. However, this mental theater often deviates from reality, breeding unnecessary stress and anxiety. The compulsion to script every possibility obstructs spontaneity and impedes the genuine experience of the present. Breaking free from the shackles of overthinking involves embracing the uncertainty of life, allowing the unfolding narrative to shape itself. Overanalyzing texts or messages. Overthinking transforms written communication into an intricate puzzle, subjecting every word and punctuation mark to exhaustive analysis. The mind, in its quest for hidden meanings and nuances, dissects text messages with a forensic precision. Each choice of phrase becomes a potential source of concern, as the overactive imagination fabricates intricate interpretations that may stray far from the sender's intent. This constant overanalysis erects a barrier to genuine connection, fueling unnecessary doubts and misinterpretations. Breaking free from this mental maze requires a conscious effort to trust the clarity of communication, acknowledging that not every comma or word holds a hidden agenda, and allowing conversations to unfold naturally. Excessive reassurance seeking. Overthinking gives rise to an incessant craving for reassurance, where the mind becomes a relentless seeker of external validation. Doubts and uncertainties, magnified by overanalysis, prompt a constant need for affirmation from others. This perpetual reassurance seeking transforms into a coping mechanism as individuals grapple with the fear of making wrong decisions or being misunderstood. The cycle of seeking external validation can become a tiresome burden, hindering autonomy and fostering dependency on others' opinions. Breaking free from this pattern involves cultivating self-trust, acknowledging the imperfections inherent in decision-making, and embracing the resilience to navigate uncertainties without constant external reassurance. Overplanning. Overthinking begets the compulsive act of overplanning, where the mind meticulously maps out every detail of the future. Fueled by a desire for control and a fear of the unknown, overplanning becomes a paradoxical response to uncertainty. The overactive mind attempts to preemptively address every conceivable scenario, creating exhaustive blueprints that often prove impractical or unattainable. This incessant need for detailed preparation stifles spontaneity, hindering adaptability to unforeseen circumstances. Breaking free from the clutches of overplanning requires embracing the fluidity of life, allowing room for serendipity, and acknowledging that not every detail can be foreseen or controlled in the intricate dance of existence. Comparing oneself to others. Overthinking becomes a toxic lens through which individuals incessantly compare themselves to others. The mind, haunted by self-doubt and insecurity, meticulously scrutinizes achievements, appearances, and life paths. This damaging habit of comparison distorts reality, fostering feelings of inadequacy and eroding self-esteem. Every glance at others becomes a measuring stick, amplifying perceived shortcomings. The relentless quest for validation through comparison perpetuates a cycle of discontent. Breaking free from this mental trap requires a conscious shift towards self-compassion, recognizing individual worth beyond external benchmarks, and appreciating the unique journey each person undertakes in their pursuit of fulfillment. Catastrophizing. Overthinking gives rise to catastrophic thinking, a distorted lens through which every situation morphs into a potential disaster. The mind, fueled by anxiety, magnifies minor issues into monumental crises, envisioning worst-case scenarios with vivid detail. This habit of catastrophizing heightens stress levels as the imagination runs wild with catastrophic possibilities. Perceived setbacks become insurmountable obstacles, sowing seeds of panic and despair. Breaking free from this mental trap necessitates challenging irrational thoughts, adopting a more realistic perspective, and recognizing that not every challenge is a catastrophic event. Cultivating resilience allows individuals to navigate difficulties with a balanced mindset, mitigating the impact of catastrophic thinking. In conclusion, breaking free from the clutches of overthinking is essential for overall well-being and a more fulfilling life. Recognizing the detrimental impact of overanalysis on decision-making, mental health, and relationships is the first step towards change. By adopting mindfulness, cultivating self-awareness, and embracing a more positive mindset, individuals can learn to manage and curb overthinking tendencies. The journey to stop overthinking involves developing resilience, accepting imperfections, and trusting oneself to navigate life's uncertainties. Through these efforts, individuals can reclaim their time, reduce stress, and foster a healthier mental and emotional state, ultimately unlocking the potential for more meaningful experiences and connections. If you want to know more about worrying, anxiety, and stress, check out our other video about it. If you like the video and find it informative, subscribe, like, and share the video so it can help us do similar videos. In the description below, there are links that might help you work on reducing your anxiety and becoming more aware by doing mindful meditation.